I'm going to share with you 3 resources I just used to pass my NCLEX. There's a ton of resources, a ton of tools, a ton of things that people are trying to sell you out there. But I wanted to just share with you the 3 that I chose and why I chose them. This is coming from someone who's actually never been in a traditional college nursing program. I've never done it, but I did get some amazing training while I was in the military. So I was a 4N, which is called Aerospace Medical Service Technician, I believe is what the official name is. But it's basically like an LPN, but in the military. And we did about 6 months of training that was in the classroom, as well as like really practical hands-on training. And then you go to your first duty station, and then you get a lot more training, like on the job training once you're there. I was really blessed because I was able to work in a med-surg unit / labor and delivery. I also rotated down to urgent care. The only license that they give us actually for our training is an EMT license. So I had that. I worked on an ambulance, and then I finished up my time in OBGYN. So I had a ton of experience. And what's really cool is a lot of states are starting to recognize that our military education and our military service actually translates very well to a licensed practical nurse. And so I was able to, here in the state of South Dakota, to fill out an application, and I got approved to take my NCLEX exam, which I just did about 2 weeks ago. And then I found out that I passed. I actually passed at 85 questions too. So I was very surprised. It was very challenging. I'm not going to lie there. I definitely thought it was very challenging, but like I said, I did a lot of studying and a lot of preparing to get ready for that test. So the first resource that I used was the Kaplan system, and I really wanted to use something that was very comprehensive, very well known, that had a very good reputation. This one is, so the pros about it is, like I said, it's very comprehensive. There is a ton of information. There are like a huge study guide. It was like 600 pages that I went through. There are flashcards. There is like a Q bank of questions and a lot of practice tests, as well as videos and lectures and things like that. So if you need to really go over your education, which is what I felt like I needed, a good refresher, I thought that that was very, very good. My favorite part was probably the practice tests and the Q bank questions, because that was so much like what the NCLEX looked like. So when I went into the NCLEX, nothing about it was a surprise, because it looked very, very similar to the practice test that I had taken with Kaplan. I would say that the cons of the Kaplan system is that it's kind of dry. Like, it was hard to feel really engaged and really absorb the information, because a lot of the lectures were just PowerPoints, and it was someone kind of reading it off, adding maybe a little bit more information than what was on the PowerPoint slide, but not a lot. And it was very dry. I'm a very like visual, hands-on person. I like to see things in like the practical part of things, and this was just very bookwork, dry part of it. So those are the cons of the Kaplan system for sure. The next resource that I used was something called Picmonic, and they have an app that you can use. I actually first found them on YouTube, and they have some lectures and stuff on there that were really fantastic when I was really trying to memorize pharmacology. So if you're someone like me who's a very visual person, Picmonic is a great option, because it's just these like pictures, and it's these pictures of all these like different things in the picture that have to do with the subject that you're studying. So talking about like SSRIs, or different cardiac meds, or just, they have just hundreds and hundreds of Picmonics for like every single part of nursing, or if you're a med student or something like that. So I thought that was fantastic, because I'm such a visual learner. That was great. They also had quizzes. So once you went through the Picmonic, you could do daily quizzes that had little pieces of all these Picmonics. That was a really neat resource, especially when it would like just flip through the slides on these daily quizzes. So it'd ask you if I went through electrolytes. It would ask me about, like calcium and potassium and, the levels there, and, things about infection control, things about, different meds. And it was great to just be like flipping through those every day, and just really helps you memorize a lot of that material that you need, that sometimes can be challenging to remember, the range of potassium or sodium or whatever. So this really kind of helps, and it tells like a little story with it too. So, like the hiker calcium cow. So it's just, that part is really helpful to help you memorize a lot of information. And I definitely love that. Also, it wasn't very expensive to subscribe to it. So Kaplan was very pricey, but like I said, I didn't want to keep paying for the test, so I wanted a really good program that would help me get to where I needed to be. The Picmonic was pretty inexpensive. And then the third resource I used actually was just a free resource I used from YouTube, and it was called Simple Nursing. And there was this nurse, his name was Mike, and he would do all these videos with Simple Nursing was his brand, right? And they of course have a website that you could go and pay for, but I actually didn't. I just listened to his little videos and his little lectures, and it was fantastic. It would be like 10 minutes on, diabetes or DKA. It was, little quick things on pharmacology, on electrolytes, on, just so many different parts of it. And they were just free videos that were on his YouTube channel. What I loved about them too is that they were bright, they were colorful. This guy was very entertaining, very engaging. He had a lot of little tricks on how to memorize things too. So it really was kind of the full package. So Kaplan was like the base of knowledge with the test questions and things like that. Picmonic was like the different pictures and the little teeny quizzes that were nothing like the NCLEX, but just helped you with memory. And then Simple Nursing was just kind of tying it all together with these concepts and just ways to memorize it, and very engaging videos. So those were the three resources that I used. And like I said, there's a lot of options out there, and you kind of just have to figure out, okay, how does my brain work? What is the best way for me to learn? And then just kind of be filling in those gaps of those things that you need. So anyways, I hope this helps, and good luck.